Hey, what's up, guys? How are you doing this week? This is the MMA Talk Show. I'm glad to be here. Hope all is well with you guys. We are here this week because we've got an amazing interview with Kyran Cameron, who's going to be competing for a belt against Dario Sinagoga, a name that we remember out here, and is going to be on the next BFL event in February, on February 17. I'm searching for it right now, but yeah, like soon enough. That being said, exactly February 17th. I was right. So, that being said, we're going to talk to Kyron. We're going to speak about the event before just a little bit because lots of cancellations on that one, but they were still able to put on a good lineup, and it's the next Canadian event that's going to take place. But before that, let's speak about Canadian performances because we had some great ones last year. Last year, what the fuck am I saying? Last week on the UFC Vegas 47 event, the event that I like to call Sean Strickland Sucks, or the event that I like to call UFC Canada, because it's rare that we've got 4 Canadian fighters on the same event. And we went 3-1, guys. It was an amazing night for almost everybody. Very sad night for one Canadian that I know personally and I like dearly. So that was bad, but we're gonna start with the first fight of the evening: Malcolm Gordon, Denis Bandar, and you know what? Malcolm wasn't favored to win at all, and he came in and he tried the armbar on his opponent, a close armbar attempt. Tried another one after it. I think the first one might have been closer than the second one, but still, we have to feel like this armbar attempt probably extended his opponent's arm because not longer later, I think 1 minute 22 of the very first round, they were both against the cage. Bandar had an underhook on Gordon, so Gordon secured the overhook over the underhook. You know how that means? That's called a whizzer. He had his whizzer, and you know when you got the whizzer, you can either use your shoulder for leverage, and you can, like, if you put your shoulder forward, it puts immense pressure on the underhook and often forces the guy to flip on his side, and that's how you take top position. Another way to do it is just to grab onto your whizzer and try to step the way that your opponent is posting with his arm. So you're gonna step that way and try to block one of his legs, and you can complete your sweep that way. So they were in that position. They were Bandar at the underhook, Malcolm at the overhook, the whizzer, and they were both against the cage, and they both had like one end posted. And Malcolm used the shoulder flick, let's call it like that. He used his shoulder, tried to flip his opponent, and man, his arm absolutely got wrecked. Like the arm that he was posting on stayed on the ground and twisted the wrong way. Absolutely got, I don't know if it's dislocated or broken or whatever. It was super fucking gruesome. And of course, the guy tapped, and that was a verbal submission. Malcolm got the first round submission win in that contest. But like, it's a technique that I use quite often, to be honest, and to see a guy fuck his arm up that way, it's pretty bad, man. But you gotta feel like, since it's so common as a position, since it's a place that, like, people who roll, people who wrestle, we all end up in like that type of position where it's 50-50, and one guy's pushing with his underhook and the other guy's like defending with his whizzer, and they're kind of battling for position, and both are posting with one of their arms to give them some leverage the other way. And like, you gotta feel like Malcolm's arm bars were like the predecessor, let's say, like that, to that injury. So yes, it's a freak injury, but I do feel like it was caused by Malcolm. So I feel like it's a legitimate win, though it's a fluky way to win. But it's a legitimate win, since he probably, with the armbar, inflicted that injury that then caused the arm to just like just stop working, just stopped working. It just like dislocated, and always, ah, man, that was bad. That was a bad injury. But shout out to Malcolm Gordon. I'm really happy for him. He started his USC run 0-2, and like, not in a good way. Like, he got submitted. That's kind of what you don't want to get when you're Malcolm Gordon, and you're like that super aggressive submission fighter, like submission hunter. As soon as he's on the ground, he's always hunting for submissions. Either if he's he's on top or on bottom. So to get submitted, that wasn't the best of looks. But his opponent Amir Albazi has gone on such a run since then that you can't really blame him for that loss. And then he got finished very early by Sumu Derji, who is another really good prospect in that division that is like quietly becoming like a slept on fighter, should I say. So um that was not a good debut, but he came back, defeated defeated Francisco Figueiredo, the brothers, the champs brother, in a very very good performance, complete 15-minute performance, and then comes in, arm bars the poor dude and fucks his old arm up, and then the arms just quits on the guy, and he wins by, and now he's 2-2 and with 2 wins in a row. So it kind of got from, oh, I don't know if it's gonna work out for Malcolm, to now he's in the UFC, he's got a 500 record, just 1-2 in a row, and the ball is rolling, and we're looking forward to what's next for Malcolm, who is one of the most exciting flyweight fighters I have seen in my life. And flyweight is such an exciting division, so Malcolm, it fits right in, and I'm really looking forward to what's next for him, and I'm super fucking happy too, because I like Malcolm. We've seen him at TKO. He was a TKO champ. He had some amazing performances in Quebec, and I really like the guy, and I really hope for him that he got some success and at the UFC level, and finally he's got it. So man, I can be happier for Malcolm and his whole team. Shout out to all of them guys. Then we had another Canadian in action. It was Alexis Davis, and she did not armbar her opponent, but she got armbarred like 2 or 3 times easily. And like, man, I know women are more flexible. I've got some women training partners at the gym that like you twist their arms up with arm bars, kimuras, and stuff, and like, man, you gotta go so far before they tap. So I guess Alexis is probably like that, because the arm bars she got she got trapped on were absolutely disgusting. Like there was one where she was kind of in a triangle and her arm was bending, like it was always it was almost a rainbow, man, to be quite honest. Her arm was a rainbow like that. It was disgusting, man, and she never tapped. She was able to escape those submission attempts, beat the crap out of Julie Justoliarenko on the ground, as she won the first round that way. The second round was on the feet, and like it started off good for Alexis, but her opponent, as she was on the ground, was very very reckless on the feet, and I think it kind of got to Alexis just a little bit. It bloodied her up, and like, and that makes me kind of not laugh, because you don't want to laugh at this stuff, but like Alexis Davis is almost like a female Diaz brother, in the way that it seems like she always bleeds from her eyebrows, like almost every fight. So she must have like the scar tissue or stuff there, because like she didn't really get it with amazing shots. She didn't get it that cleanly. She was never hurt. So the fact that she was all bloodied up, like she got her ass absolutely whooped, and it wasn't the case. Like she lost the second round, but it was still a very close contested round on the feet. So it was 1-1 going into the third, and into the third she was able to have the better striking, but also secure other takedowns and dominate on top like she did on in the first round. So she won, and we're really happy for her. She's like at this point probably the 15th best woman bantamweight in the world, or maybe the 16th one, but she's the gatekeeper to the elite of the division. She's been there for a while. She's fought for a title. She's fought and defeated like almost every known women's fighter to date, and she's still here, and she's still putting on, and like really quietly she is accumulating a resume that makes her one of the best Canadian fighters ever. Like she has fought for a while now. She's fought every major fighter, like I said, and like she's defeated most of them. So an amazing resume for Alexis Davis, who keeps on fighting at her age, and I'm still here to watch it. So congrats to her, great performance here. And then, man, fuck, that was the sad part of the night, because Marc-André Barriault is a guy that I like. I like this guy. When he stayed in Quebec and he was with Jad Masson Wong, I used to hang out with him when I went to Quebec. He came to my house once after training in Montreal. We did a podcast there, and like I absolutely love this guy. Like, to be honest, I wish that we could see each other more often. Now he lives in Florida, and it's really been the best for him. To be honest, it's been the best for him for his career, and he was never afraid, like, to take these steps to move from Quebec to Gatineau, from Gatineau to Florida, and like to just sacrifice so much in his life, in his personal life, to be able to live that MMA dream to the fullest, and to be a UFC fighter. And man, like Malcolm Gordon, it started off really, really bad for Marc-André Barriault, but not in the same way, but like almost in a discouraging way, because like it was close to winning all these fights except for the Jungyun Park one. He wasn't really in that one. Like, it was really but I won't say his worst performance, because it clearly was last Saturday, but like it was his less inspired and the most lopsided the decision he lost. Let's say like that. It was in Korea against Jungyun Park, but the two fights before against who I feel are probably better opponents than Jungyun Park, even though Jungyun Park has really, really been surprising in his UFC run. He's been a quality middleweight, things that is just a thing that I wasn't expecting at all. At first, I really thought Jungyun Park was one of the weaker guys in the division, and he's really surprised me. But like that being said, uh Barrio like lost his first three fights and then came back, won by knockout against Oscar Piechota, but then got his win overturned because of a failed drug test, which wasn't for drugs. Like, it was for a thing that's is sometimes find in supplements, and that, like, honestly, it's called Ostarine. You can look for a list of pro UFC fighters with failed Ostarine tests. Like, it's so many guys from Sean O'Malley to Rachel Ostovich, which are like the higher profile cases, let's say like that, to like almost like 50 fighter or more have failed some tests for Ostarine. And when they're caught by USADA just gives them a warning. They don't even suspend them, because like I don't know much about Ostarine. I've looked here and there, but from what I've gathered, I feel like it's something that you may find in supplements, that it's not on the label. But I don't think it's something that you can get. I don't think you can buy Ostarine. Like, I think it's just something that residually finds itself in supplements sometime. And like when you get caught by USADA, they just tell you, hey man, you got Ostarine in your shit, please change your supplements and don't do this again. And the fighters say, okay man, sorry about that. But Barrio got caught by the athletic commission in Nevada, so of course they were gonna fine him, suspend him, take his win away, all of that shit. So that's what they did. But he still won that fight. Then comes back, absolutely wrecks Abu Azaitar, absolutely wrecks Dalcha, who he defeats by decision, yes, but like with his jab, he absolutely beat that guy up. He KO'd Abu Azaitar in the fight before too, so came in strong, three straight wins, was fighting Chidi and Jokuani, who is Anthony and Jokuani's brother. And like I remember back in the days when Anthony was fighting in the UFC, like every time I was fighting, I was kind of reminded of, oh yeah, this guy, he's got a brother with kind of the same experience as him. He's fighting for Bellator. He's good, but like he's not quite in the UFC yet, but he's good. He's got a brother that's pretty good. And I've watched Chidi fight for World Series of Fighting, for Bellator, for RFA, man. He fought for RFA. Do you believe that? That RFA was the Resurrection Fighting Alliance, and it's the league that like merged with the Legacy Fighting Championship to create LFA, the Legacy Fighting Alliance, which has now like 120 events. And so it's been a while since RFA and LFC joined forces together, and Chidi fought for RFA before that. So just to tell you how much experience this guy had. So he was more than ready to come into the UFC. Honestly, before that fight, I knew that he was powerful. Like, that's the thing about Chidi and Jukwani. He's powerful. That's his main asset. Like, the things that he lacks is sometimes when he can't just knock someone out with one punch. He kind of does not have a much more volume like behind his big power shots, but it's pretty much one big power shots, then reset, then wait for 20 seconds, then throw another power shot, then reset, then wait for 20 seconds, then throw another power shot. So that's pretty much how he operates. And when it's not working, he just wrestles. So I was kind of confident for Barriault, who yes, has win some, had lost some, but the guy has always been tough, had never been finished in his life. And I was like, if there's one thing that does not bother me when I think about Barriault, it's power punchers. Like, I don't think just a guy's got to come out here and blast Barriault out of the gate. And holy shit, man, that's exactly what happened. And that was one of the saddest thing I've seen in years, man. Like, basically, Chidi came in, threw a leg kick, threw a teep kick. Barrio said, I'm going to answer with an inside leg kick, threw an inside leg kick. And Chidi just said, oh, you're going to do it like that? Let's do it. So he countered it with like a jab that was straight on the chin and an overhand right, which was straight on the ear. Put Barrio down against the cage with that one shot and just unleashed on him with like absolutely brutal ground and pound, which turned his lights off. So 15, 16 seconds, all that it took for Chidi to defeat Marc-André Barriault in like the saddest way possible. So I was bummed out. I was really bummed out. And it was time for Mean Hakeem, who came in to fight Mike Trezano. And man, I won't say that he really cheered me back up because one of my friends just got knocked the fuck out, but he cheered me back up because he's an amazing fighter to watch. I really, really love Hakeem Dawodu because his style is like, it's not complicated at all. Like, honestly, one of the most simple styles that you got. Like, great footwork, make sure you stay on your feet. We've seen with Mavzar Evloev that when he faces really, really good wrestlers, that can kind of be his kryptonite, even though I think he fought well in that fight, but it was like he almost spent like 10 minutes or more on his back. So it was a tough performance for him, but was able to come back. And we know Trezano is a takedown threat. I must say it. He is. But he's a striker at base. He's a kickboxer. He wants to kickbox, and sometimes he just forgets that he wants to kickbox, and he starts taking people down. But Hakeem is so much of a dedicated kickboxer that I feel like Trezano just came in and like he knew that Hakeem was no takedown threat for him, and that they were gonna kickbox, so they kickboxed. And man, he couldn't do anything against Hakeem because Hakeem only throws a jab and a leg kick. Like, only throws a jab and a calf kick. Basically, that's what he does. He throws a jab, throws a calf kick, throws a jab, throws a calf kick. And once you answer, now you're in deep trouble. Because when you answer, he's gonna counter with like a hook to a like hook to the head, hook to the body combination, or with a like a 2-3 combination or something like that. And the guy is amazing, man. It's hard. His dedication to it to the body was great in that fight. But the thing I like the most about him is that he moves his head, and that's just something you don't see that often in MMA. And like I say, he moves his head. Yes, there are guys that come in like, okay, head movement, let's do it, and they do head movement for like a half a round, and then they just forget about it and start throwing them bungalows. It's not the case with Hakeem. Hakeem moves his head every time that he strikes. Hakeem moves his head every time that he feints. Hakeem is really dedicated to good defense, good head movement. So, and he's so like strategic and intelligent, and he counters really hard. But he's not the guy that's gonna lead and put himself into trouble. He's just gonna stay super put and jab, calf kick, jab, calf kick. And when he's got the chance to answer, because you get tired of getting jab and getting calf kick, and you tell yourself, "I next time he jabs me, I'm gonna hit that fool and I'm gonna hit him hard." So he jabs you, you try to hit him hard, then you hit a straight to the chin and a hook to the liver, and you don't find it really amusing. But we do. I do. I absolutely love his style. He won again. This guy is gonna be a ranked fighter at featherweight, I believe. One of the toughest division, one of the best divisions. But like, can't you tell me that you'd see Hakeem Dawodu against, like, let's say, Shane Burgos or Arnold Allen or Josh Emmett? Yeah, they're really tough fights, but I feel like he could do really well in these fights. So Hakeem Dawodu is like probably the next Canadian fighter to get a shot at the rankings, a shot at like the higher ups of his division. And the fact that he's at 145 is just amazing. Like, if you can climb like the 170, 155, 145, and even the 135 divisions right now, you're just like an absolutely amazing fighter. And I feel like he's next up. He's the next Canadian guy up, and I can't wait for what's next for him because I absolutely love his style and love everything that he does. So big shout out to Mina Hakeem Dawodu and to the guys at Champions Creed. Great guys and great gym and great fighters, and like really, really happy for them. Then let's just go briefly and talk about the BFL card, the BFL card that's upcoming. It's BFL 71 because there were lots of cancellations on that event, and we gotta address it before we go on to the Kyran Cameron interview, because Cameron is fighting for a belt, and I think he might be the main event now. To be honest, I'm not really sure, but like there were many cancellations on that event. The first one of them being the Oxan Yalcin and Wesley Bowman due to commission issues. Like for all, I must say, for all my Canadian MMA content, like fight bookings, fight cancellations, I always go to MMA Empire. They're the best. Like for that, for the coverage of what's taken place, what's not taken place anymore within of course, like not for Quebec because I do commentary for Samurai, so when their fights canceled, I usually like know that before them. But for every other fight in Canada, like in Ontario and BC, like the provinces where I'm not at, so I don't have like the inside info really on everything. I always go to MMA Empire. Like they are really the best, and if you're not following them, I suggest that you do it right now because you're really lacking if you're not. So Oxan Yalcin and Wesley Bowman, not gonna happen. Then Stuart Delorme and Dave Fuki. Like I don't know how many times they tried to book that fight. I think it's 2 or 3 times now, but not going on anymore. Is Delorme withdrawing for unknown reasons? Then that bummed me out. Mitch Strezella and Mario Vorka was the fight I was the most looking forward to the most on that event. Like to be honest, I was looking forward to that contest. Strezella was so impressive in his pro debut. Like I've never been impressed in a pro debut like that since Tisha Gautreau, who is commenting right here. Like Tisha, what's up, man? What's up, Tisha? You should follow my guy Tisha Gautreau at my house MMA. Is an amazing prospect. I really like him. But that being said, his training partner Mario Vorka was supposed to fight Mitch Strezella. I'm super impressed by Mitch. Mario Vorka, we know him. He's absolutely insane. So that would have been an amazing fight, amazing action contest, and I'm really sad it's not taking place. Then Nicolas Ouellet, Ryan Rohovich. Hey, like what's going on with Ryan Rohovich? The poor guy, like he just withdrew due to an injury, but hey man, let's look at his topology, man. It's absolutely crazy how many fights this guy have not fought in the last years. And I don't even think they're all registered there. But look at all these cancellations. Nicola Ouellet, John Wen, Radley De Silva, Dario 2 times, Sean Wallace. Damn, the topology guy. Shout out to Sean. I really like that guy too. But yeah, he's not fought since he fought Achilles in 2018. And he's been booked like not in 19, but 2020 2 times, 2021 3 times, and now once in 2022. And these fights have all fallen through, and that's not like all his other cancellations in his career. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cancellations for a guy who's got 8 pro fights. So I don't know what's going on with Ryan Rohovich, but he's not lucky, man. He's not able to make it to fight night. That's one thing that's for certain. And then the main event, Dayan Kajic and Ricardo Centeno is off due to Centeno not receiving commission clearance. That fucking sucks, man, because Dayan is not getting like younger, and this guy, I feel like he's the one of the guy that really deserves a shot in at the UFC. But you like, there's no sane person in Canada is gonna say, "Oh yeah, Deon deserves that shot over Shane Campbell, over Cal Prepelic, over Alex Morgan, over fucking Aaron Jeffery, or even Anthony Romero." But he still does deserve that shot, and the fact that most of his fights are getting canceled, like the last time he fought was against Kyran Cameron, who was our guest today. So the fight that his fights are getting canceled, like it really sucks for him because he's not the guy that like has the most time left on his hand, and like his chance to get that opportunity feel like it's kind of falling through his hands, and not by his own fault, because every time he gets booked his fights get canceled. So That's the cancellations for BFL 71. That's really sad because the event was amazing. I think they still got plenty fights on that event, but it kind of lost the little glitter that it had, the shine that it had. But still, here is the full event. We've got the main event today on old Dario Sinagoga, Kyran Cameron. We're speaking to Kyran. Then who will be fighting for the first time at lightweight too? That's one thing that we gotta know. Then lots of cool fights still. Radley de Silva, Mateo Vogel. Like anytime Mateo Vogel's in action, you're gonna wanna watch that shit. Then Said Mizrahi, Bobby Poulter. That's another amazing matchup. Johnny Broad, Mike McCallum. That's absolutely crazy. And Gagan Gill, John Nguyen, that's cool. And Drew Verk against Nigel Crosswell. Is it Nigel? Yes, it's Nigel because it's flyweight. And Noah does not make it to fight night either, so it's sure that it's Nigel. Then guys I don't know about, but I'm looking forward to see these guys too. Is that amateur fights or pro fights? I don't know, but like we still got an event. We still got a good lineup. The three top fights, I'd say four top fights are absolutely amazing. These two fights are really good too. But like, bro, I'm a huge Mike McCallum fan. I absolutely love Johnny Broad. This guy is a young prodigy. I feel like we're gonna hear about Johnny Broad in the coming years. And Mike McCallum is just a super cool grappler. I really like him. And then same thing for Bobby Poulter, who absolutely fucked Keenan Keller up. Said Mizrahi, very good prospect. He's been having trouble to fight too, but he's there and he's booked, so shouts to him. And like I said, Vogel is can't miss. Cameron Synagoga is going to be a real cool matchup, and like a matchup of revenge, man. Of revenge for those who are still mad about that Dario Powell decision. We've got a guy who trains with slash adjacent to Zachary Powell. He's with Aegis MMA. Kyran, Zach is with Niagara Top Team, but these two teams really train a lot together because of Lyndon Whitlock. So like their friends are training partners, and Kyran's gonna look to go and avenge that loss, avenge that bullshit decision. So that's it. Let's go and speak to Kyran. The thing I have to say is that the video is absolutely disgusting. Like it was lagging, and most of the time Kyran was just like lagged the fuck out on his side of the screen, but the audio is good. And I know that like there are many people that are watching audio only, and I hope that other people that are watching on YouTube are not like staring at their screen looking at my stupid face for the whole time. So I feel like if the audio for the interview is good, that's what we need. We don't really give a fuck about the video, so that's why I kept it, because the audio was amazing. It never really lagged out. It was just the video that was lagging out for Kyran. But man, who really gives a fuck when the audio is cool? So thanks to Cameron for that interview, and let's go listen to it right now. What's up, guys? We're back this week with a guy that I've been waiting to speak to for a moment now. One great Canadian prospect. He's given us highlights all over the beginning of his pro career, and he's due for another big spot at the next BFL event. He's gonna fight for another belt. So he's here with us, Kyran Cameron. What's up, my man?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing great. I'm really happy to have you. Like I was saying in the beginning, you've been an exciting fighter, man. You've been a really exciting fighter since the beginning of your career. Some really nice submissions. You know, I'm a grappling nerd, so when I see heel hooks, Bravo chokes, stuff like that, I'm always super excited, and that's why I'm really happy to have you on today. So before we speak about the fights and all of that stuff, just wanted to know, man, how's life going?
Yeah, it's going really well. We got our gym facility all sorted out, so we've just been having some good training at Aegis MMA in Oakville, so can't really complain.
Yeah, that's Lyndon's new gym, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Cool. Yeah, it's looking great, and plenty fighters coming out of that gym. I know it's some of the old Parabellum guys, but you were really able to make a big impact last year, first year as a new team, let's say like that. Already having a big impact on the Canadian MMA landscape with some great wins. And you were part of that, my man, because you started your year with a highlight reel finish over Keenan Keller, heel hook. What can you tell us about that fight, man?
Yeah, like it was. I was really excited for that one. It was a year of like training throughout lockdown and not sure of what's the future is gonna hold. It was my first fight on UFC Fight Pass, so I know I had to put on a good showing, right? And to be able to finish it off with getting a heel hook, which not a lot of guys do in MMA fights, it was really satisfying.
Yeah, for sure. And like I don't know what you thought of the, like, I don't want to say the pre-fight narrative, but like when you go to BFL, let's say it like that, when you're not from West BC, basically, you're kind of seen as the underdog when you come in, and like they were the way they were speaking about Keenan Keller, they had me thinking for a second, like, man, is he that good? Because I know Kyran's good, and they're kind of underselling him like in that contest, and finally, you proved us right, man. You proved us right back here. And then that led to a title fight with Dayan Kajic at 170. Fortunately, did not go your way, but I'm pretty sure that you were able to learn a lot from that performance against such a veteran, right?
Yeah, exactly. Going into BFL, they I don't think they really knew too much about me since I was an Ontario fighter. They didn't really fly in guys from that part of Canada to fight in BC up until the lockdown, right? When they could only have Canadian fighters on their card. So it was great to get on board with them and UFC Fight Pass. Um, and yeah, it was great to have that title opportunity and test my skills against like one of the top fighters in that division. Yeah, it didn't go my way, but I was able to learn a lot from myself. And you often learn more from your losses than you do from your wins, right?
For sure. Is it that fight that really made you go to 155, or was it like always in the works?
Uh, that was ultimately why we made the decision to go down, right? After my last few my last few opponents going into that fight had all previously fought at middleweight, right? So
Yeah,
I was always at a bit of a size disadvantage going into it, and I don't really hold on the weight that I need to be competitive with the top guys, which I is ultimately where I see myself competing, right? So we just went back to the drawing board, talked to my coaches. We thought that competing at 155 would be more suited to my frame.
yeah, for sure. Because the Dayon fight, like there's not that much thing that happened in that fight. It's just that when he let go, the power difference, the even the frame difference between you guys was kind of significant. The E2 has been fighting. I think it's tough for Dayan to make 170 even. I think he told me once that he's more of a like a 85er, but if there was like a 175 division, that would be the best for him. So, and you could clearly see in that fight that, like, yes, you're a super technical fighter, you're able to maneuver around some like strength disadvantage, but in that fight you could really see that once Dayan just let his hands go, like the power difference between both, and it was significant in that fight, and it really like prevented you from doing other stuff, because I feel like if there wasn't that huge gap in power, you could have lasted longer in that fight, and who knows what would have happened, because and you were doing well. I feel in the beginning of that contest.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's a big guy, right? Like even going into the weigh-ins, like you said, it looked like he had a little bit of size on me. But day of the fight, when he walked in the cage, you're just like, whoa,
Yeah,
like
it was gigantic.
yeah, he's definitely one of the bigger welterweights, right? So it was definitely evident, like come fight day. But it was an amazing experience and like awesome to test myself against somebody of that skill level, right? You know, and obviously like I do see myself like I could have done better in that fight ultimately. But it was good to test myself. High risk, high reward. Right, I'm here to elevate my career and go to the next level, so I need to take those fights.
Yeah, for sure. And even though you lost, you're still fighting for a belt in your next fight. And man, that's one that we gotta talk about, because Dario's last fight, bro, I'm still scarred. Like I still
Yes.
see that fight in my nightmares. So how do you prevent that from happening again? Because like I don't want to say it that way, but it seems like if you don't finish Dario, you will not beat him.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? There's a couple bad decisions coming from the commission. I don't know if that's because of him being a local fighter or where that comes from, but ultimately that is in the back of my mind, right? I don't want it to go to the judges' scorecards and leave it in their hands. So I'm looking to have a definitive performance, and I always go for the finish in my fights, as you know. So I'm looking to put him away. This is for the belt, so and I'm coming off a loss as well, so I'm not taking any chances. Like I need this win.
Like in what way do you see this fight playing out? Like in the sense that what do you think you need to do, especially to be able to finish him and not have to deal with the judges in the end?
Ultimately, I think if I stick to my strengths, if I am able to keep my striking clean, use my footwork, like pick him apart, eventually he's gonna crumble. I'm gonna find that shot that's gonna put him away. If it goes to the ground, I am confident in my jiu-jitsu and my submission ability. Ultimately, I think there's like many different ways this fight can end. Right, I'm willing to go the full 5 rounds if needed and put him away in the last 2 rounds or put him away in the first round. Like, I think as long as I just stick to my game, pick him apart, find those shots, eventually one of those shots are going to put him away.
Cool. And I know you guys go to Niagara Top Team and like back and forth here and there. So have you had the chance to train with Zach?
Yeah, I do get training in with Zach and all the guys at Niagara Top Team. I'm familiar with like his wrestling and like just how skilled Zach is. So I know like it's good to have him as a training partner, having he just fought Dario previously, right?
Yeah, no, of course, it's a good thing. I was wondering if you guys were still able to cross train and stuff because I know like I know it's tough around our parts with COVID and shit. They don't really want us to train that hard. So, are you guys? I think I read that. You may be able to confirm that for me. Is it true that in Ontario, basically the MMA gyms and stuff, they're allowed to run because you are professional athletes and you're kind of training for your sport which you are making a living in?
um, Actually, no. Like professional MMA athletes were not included in the
Okay,
exemption.
so you're like us in Quebec, like you're not like real people with real jobs and stuff like.
Yeah, exactly. We've been left out of those exemptions. It's just select professional sports and even amateur sports that are some of which that are training for Olympics and stuff like that. Regardless, we haven't let that stop us. Right, we're still getting our training in and doing what we have to do. It's just the nature of the game at the moment.
Yeah, for sure, man. At least I heard that like it's reopening on January 31st here in Quebec. I don't think like I believe we're gonna be the last ones to reopen. Like as always, they're gonna reopen the restaurants and everything, but not us. But yeah, that's a whole nother subject. I just don't want to talk about that shit. It pisses me off so much. So, man, you're beginning that year interim title fight. So I guess if you win, the goal is to fight the champ Achilles, right?
Yeah, I think that's ultimately if he's deciding to stick around and fight for BFL. I think it's a little bit up in the air what's happening with him right now, which is why they are setting this interim fight. Um, Ultimately, when I do win this belt, I would want to unify, right? So whether it's him or whether it's somebody else, I'll be ready to take that next shot. I'm looking to string together 2 to 3 wins this year, get right back on track, and go to UFC Contender Series, like wherever it takes me.
Yeah, for sure. Because BFL, like there can be an argument here, but either BFL or Unified, they're pretty much like the most established and most important promotions in Canada right now. So like winning a belt for these promotions, it puts you in the limelight and like you're 5-1, man. So like you've been saying, 2 or 3 wins this year. you're right in the range to get a shot at the contenders or something like that. If you're able to string wins like this, and you know that, like, if you've watched the contenders in the last, especially last summer, like, being Canadian is pretty much like something that works in your favor even before the fight. Like, how many times you've heard Dana at the contender series say, "Oh yeah, he had a good fight, that and that, and he's Canadian, so we need those, and we're gonna sign him." So just being able to be in that position after the end of this year, that would be amazing for you, because you're, like I said, you're right in the range of like, people that are getting close to getting that call.
Yeah, exactly. It's really exciting knowing that they are actively looking for Canadians, right? We just saw Jasmine Justovicius win her UFC debut, coming from Niagara Top Team and going through the Contender Series route. His debut as well. These are two individuals that I train alongside with. So it's like really exciting that they're looking for Canadian talent, right? So, and like you said, if I can get a win on this for this fight, get my belt, fight on Contender Series, it's like I see the goal is there in sight, right? And BFL's done a great job as being a proving ground and making that pathway to Contender Series.
For sure. And another thing too is that you got a guy, I know he's not your weight, a little smaller, but same position as you. He's a champ for BFL too. He's got a great record. He's looking for to sign in with the UFC, and you guys are training at Aegis Boat, and it's Seri City.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to know how does that work, like, between you guys, because you're such in similar positions and getting close to the goal. It must be pretty cool, like, to have one of your guys like in a similar position as you, and you'll be able, like, to grind together towards that goal.
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome. I was in the corner for a series fight when he first won the belt.
Yep.
And it was like super exciting to see like all the hard work that he's put in like come to fruition. And he went on to defend that belt, had another like really impressive performance. And he's like a young, exciting fighter. I can't wait for the next step. I definitely see him fighting in Contender Series soon. And it's awesome to have that energy in the gym and having a current BFL champion in the gym as well, like at the same time, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. And like, Siri really gave hope back to us, to be honest, because like after the Powell fight, and like, it seems like people from Ontario, people from Quebec, when they go there, they're not booked to win. Basically, they're not booked to win at all. And to see Siri just go there and win the belt and bring it back to our part of Canada, it's cool to see, and it's really like motivating for people. I know that the one of the guys that I know that trains at TriStar, Maxime Soucy, who fought on the last BFL card, after seeing Seri win, was like, "Oh shit, maybe I could go there. Maybe I could do something cool back there in Vancouver." Because, like, man, like, prospects first were pretty grim, like I said, after the Powell fights and some of the other fights that we've seen back there. So it's cool that Siri just basically gave us hope that, yeah, you can go back there and like win the belts and be the champ. And Ontario's pretty much your area, especially the hotbed for MMA in Canada. So it's cool to see people close to us go there and shine. I'm just really happy for all of you guys.
Yeah, it's like, we're not always going to be favored to go in, right? And I think Siri and me as well, like prior to this fight, most of our fights have been in Ontario, where we're the hometown guys, right? So it was cool to like step outside of the comfort zone. You're not always brought down to win, right? Especially when you're getting flown in from across the country. We don't sell as many tickets for the local guys, but it's awesome that we are on UFC Fight Pass, so that doesn't matter as much. But yeah, it's like, it's a fight at the end of the day. When two guys get into the cage, one of them has to win, right? So you can be liked or disliked by the local guys there, but ultimately the truth is going to come out on fight day.
Yeah, for sure. And it's always a good thing to live early in your career, I feel. Like, because I don't know if you were tuning in back in the days, but we had when TKO was running in Quebec, like there was a lot of like Ontario versus Quebec matchups, like Jesse Ronson and the Laramie brothers, and like, and when they came to Quebec, of course, it was a really hostile crowd for them because like they were fighting some of the local guys here, and I feel like experiences like this could really prepare you for the next level, because we've seen it sometimes when you go to the UFC, you face really really hostile crowds, especially when like you're an international fighters and you end up like fighting an American guy close to where they live and stuff. So I feel like experiences like this on a smaller scale early in your career, it can really turn out to be really helpful in the end.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want to be one of those fighters who has been protected up until they get to those high ranks. Cherry pick our fights. We take tough matchups. We'll go into enemy territory and fight local guys. This is all going to help and play into the future, right? When we step into the higher promotions, and we're not like, we're Canadians, right? So we're most likely, the bigger fights are not going to be in our country against like our hometown crowd, right? So it's good to get that out of the way early.
Yeah, for sure, man. And like for guys like you, because with the training that you guys have, with the people that you have around your corner, like it's basically not a question of if, it's pretty much a question of when. Like for guys like you, Siri, and stuff. So I feel like you guys are doing it the right way. And man, like I told you, when you guys are back there in Vancouver, Quebec, Ontario is all the same for me. We're rooting for guys back in our neck of the woods, and you guys are close to us. So man, we'll be rooting for you, Kyran. We can't wait to see that interim title fight against the much maligned Dario Sinagoga. It's gonna be a hell of a contest, my man, and we'll be tuning in on UFC Fight Pass. I'll give all the details on the page on the channel. So thank you very much for joining, Kyran. And anytime you want to say something, call somebody out or just discuss, text me and you got a place on the podcast, my man.
Awesome, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure, man. See you next time. Bye.